Andrew Tate, the most famous man on planet Earth. Love him or hate him, everyone is watching. Although controversial, Andrew's meteoric rise to fame has led him to become one of the most influential men in the world. He's no longer regarded as a celebrity or an influencer, but rather a political figure. A man who has captured a generation of minds and impacted millions of people across the globe. His polarizing views have sparked debates worldwide, even at the highest of levels, including institutions and governmental organizations.
Online influencer Andrew Tate's vile misogyny infiltrates our classrooms and society.
But the true Andrew Tate is a man that is largely misunderstood. I wanted to take this opportunity to discover the real Andrew Tate. In December of 2022, I was scheduled to meet Andrew in Dubai for our second interview, but little did I know that podcast would never happen.
Andrew Tate has been arrested.
On that same day, his house was raided and Andrew and his brother Tristan were sentenced to a Romanian jail on multiple charges. For the next 3 months, the world watched on as one of the most powerful men on earth was stripped of everything. In March of 2023, Andrew and his brother were released under house arrest due to a lack of evidence. Fast forward to now, he invited me out to Romania where he remains within the confines of the legal system. With armed guards at his side, me and Andrew met at a secret location just outside of Bucharest. In this 3-hour interview, Andrew shared some of the most controversial opinions today.
They just fucking make it up! Women are the attack vector. How do you avoid this attack vector? What, be gay?
The real reason behind his arrest.
I was accused, obviously, of the complete garbage charge of human trafficking via the Loverboy method, and what they're saying is...
And revealed some shocking confessions never disclosed to the world before.
It's a good question you asked me. I probably shouldn't say this stuff, I'm supposed to say it.
Andrew Tate, thank you very much for coming back on the CEO cast.
It's been a long time, sir.
It has been indeed.
I like the t-shirt.
Well, thank you, man. It's good much. I'm going to give you one after.
Oh, perfect.
I want to start off with the podcast with this. Since the last time we spoke, I have to thank you because not only have you changed my mindset and my perspective on life, but I've seen personal friends start 6-figure businesses. I've seen fat people go to the gym. I've seen men stop chasing women. I've seen a lot happen. And when I ask them all one thing, they say it's down to Andrew Tate. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, that's amazing news, and it's good to know that I'm having such a positive impact on the world. It's also interesting because it's living the juxtaposition of the mainstream media and the government, especially in the UK, trying to ban me and convince the world that I'm the devil and that I'm evil, and at the same time, everyone's saying I'm doing such good things. And it's certainly highlighted to me exactly how the mainstream establishment works and how scared they are of making men and people motivated in general. Because when you're a motivated individual, you pay attention to the things around you and you're not laying down ready to accept the slave programming. It happened the other day, I think it was yesterday, some idiot from Leeds, I think, with a gun intended on shooting up a mall or something ridiculous. And the mainstream news article was Andrew Tate fan intends on. I've never even met this guy.
Manipulate it in a way where it's down to you, sort of thing.
Well, of course, they're going to say anyone who does anything bad who follows me on Twitter is an Andrew Tate fan. 8.8 million people follow me on Twitter. I'm sure if someone crashes their car, they're not going to say Taylor Swift fan crashed her car.
Yeah, no,
they don't care,
yeah.
right? You could be listening to Taylor Swift driving your car as you plow into a tree, and they're not going to mention it. But it's crazy how the whole establishment works, and I know my message is good, and I know that I'm helping people. But the scary thing is when you go deeper down the rabbit hole, you understand that that's why they dislike me.
Yeah,
they
definitely.
dislike me because I help people.
Yeah.
They dislike me because I motivate people.
They want to enslave people at the end of the day.
Of course.
We're going to get all to this later on in the podcast, but rather than making this a part 2, I want to make this almost a continuation from the last podcast.
Okay.
So if you remember at the end of the podcast last time, I gave you a Quran.
Yeah.
Now this is very interesting because at the time you wasn't Muslim then.
Yeah, that's right.
And now, alhamdulillah, you are.
Yeah.
So first off, I want to say, welcome to Islam.
Thank you.
And secondly, what I want to say is, I know you've said a few times that you don't want to discuss Islam too much on podcasts.
Yeah.
And I completely understand that because at the end of the day, it's nothing to be ashamed of because we're all sinners and nothing can get anyone anything perfectly said. And even me being a born Muslim, and I'd like to say I have a vast amount of knowledge on Islam, regardless of what I say, there's still going to be people out there who comment back on what I say because people have different schools of thought, etc. So what I will say is just like the quiz shows where you got phone a friend, also the team are Muslim right now, so you've got phone a sheikh. So if you've got any answers, any questions that you want answered on this podcast today from a fellow Muslim right here,
thank you.
Or if I can't get the answer, we'll get the answer for you.
Yeah, I'm studying it and I have a huge amount of respect for Islam, and it's one of the only subjects that I am passionate about that I don't know everything about. Everything else I'm interested in, I can sit and talk about for hours.
Yeah.
Or if I talk about Islam, I feel like there's people far more qualified than me, and I feel like it's disrespectful because I'm new to it, I'm a revert, and I'm trying to learn like everybody else. And yes, I'm famous, and yes, I'm well known, but my opinion isn't valid compared to someone who's a born Muslim or studied it harder than I have. So,
Everyone's opinions are valid.
of course, but I don't consider myself qualified.
Yeah, fair enough. But how would you say it's shaped your life and your mentality?
You know the best thing about Islam? The best thing about Islam is how simple it is because there's wrong and right.
It's a simple religion.
It's wrong and right. I mean, you look at other religions and it's also subjective now.
Yeah.
And that's why I've said many times on different podcasts that it's the last true religion. If you don't have a strong barrier, if you don't have a yes and a no, you don't have a religion. If you tolerate everything, you stand for nothing. And if you believe in God and you say, I believe in God, but I'm not a Muslim, I'm going to say, okay, that's fine. You're a Christian. What is Christianity anymore? What does it mean? You can go to a Christian country, and America, let's take, for example, and you'll get in more trouble for insulting George Floyd than you will for insulting Jesus Christ.
Yeah, for sure.
You can walk down walk down the street with a T-shirt saying Jesus is gay. Girls barely go to church. If they do, who knows what they were doing the night before? None of it means anything. And then if you go and find a Christian that says this trans person has changed gender, what do you think about that? Christians are so soft, they're going to go, well, I hope he finds redeem, and I hope he finds guidance. Haram, bro. Haram. No, you didn't. It's haram. And I like that it's yes and no. And what's the point in a religion if you're too afraid to say what you believe in, or afraid to stick up for it, or afraid to defend it? Then what's the point in any of it? So I feel like it's the last true religion. I feel like it's the last religion on the planet. And it's kind of interesting because since my reversion, I've had lots of conversations with the right-wing conservatives who were upset by my reversion as if I cared. And a lot of them said to me, oh yeah, but it's a Christian country. We need to restore Christianity to England or wherever. And they don't seem to understand that the basic law of the universe is that power vacuums get filled. This is the basic law of the universe. If a tiger arrives in a brand new habitat and there's no other predators, it's going to destroy and eat all the rabbits and it's going to take over.
Facts.
Anyone who's in the West who's concerned about the spread of Islam should be more worried about the absolute fall of Christianity. The reason people revert to Islam is because they're looking for God and they can't find God anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's Christianity's fault for being so weak and decadent.
Yeah, we were discussing this as well as a group earlier on, and we were like, the UK majority of it is a Muslim, population. So it's gone past the point where it's now deemed as a Christian country because there's more Muslims than Christians in the first place.
This is the Islamic Republic of Great Britistan, and